and I have here a special guest today. Welcome to Shoot the Shh. And today, our topic I think is really exciting because I have not only just another woman, but she's a woman in the firearm industry as well as a manager at a gun store. And I just think it's really cool to give this perspective. So I'll wait a few minutes for some people to join. Just how was your day today? Were you having a great day?
Yeah, my day's going pretty good. I can't complain. I had a pretty good day at work. How about you?
It's been all right. It's been all right. The weather threw me for a loop because I just knew it was gonna like pour down rain. And when I looked at the clouds this morning, I was like, wow, that's a serious overcast.
Yeah.
So I was surprised it waited like almost the whole day before it rained any in my area. So yeah,
Yeah, I got mostly wind today. It wasn't too rainy.
that's good. Yeah. For me, I didn't notice any drops until this evening. So I
Mm.
was like, wow. And it's still throwing me for a loop how dark it is outside at 5 o'clock or
It's
5:30.
killing me. Oh my
Yes.
gosh. Because like I'm like a night person. So now that the night has come in the day, it's confusing me.
I hear you. I hear you. And I'm very like dependent on the sun. Like when the sun goes down, my body's like, okay, it's time to like close down
Hmm.
everything and just completely relax. But at that time, that's busy time for me. That's
Yeah.
cooking dinner, getting the kids ready for bed, and making sure homework was done time for me. So it's like really throwing me for a serious loop because I'm dead tired by that time, a lot of times, just because the sun is gone.
Mm.
Yeah, so I'm just like, man, I can't wait for this to change again so we can get back to it. I don't think we need daylight savings time anymore. What do you think?
Necessary. I don't think it's necessary. It's too confusing. It throws off the time clock. It throws everybody's mood. So I
Yes.
don't think it's really necessary anymore.
Yes, definitely the mood. You're definitely right on that. So
Hmm.
yeah. Well, while we now have more people here, I want to say, everyone, welcome, welcome. Hey, hey, hey to all of you guys out there, and welcome to Shoot the Shh. Today, our conversation is going to be something I think everybody needs to know when they're buying firearms and all of the tea that's going on with Glock right now. We're going to discuss that a bit too. So, if you're here for all of that, you came to the right place. I am Mrs. Trouble, if you don't already know. And welcome, Junior King and Linwood Wooden. Thank you so much for joining again. I appreciate you guys coming back and being regulars. Today, my guest, Miss Brittany, she is not going to disclose the store that she works at. We're not going to talk about the area. We're just going to simply say that it is Virginia area that she's servicing, just for her protection. So y'all don't ask. Don't worry about where she work at. Okay, y'all just need to know she is a professional and she's doing this day in and day out and she knows what she's talking about. I'm sure during the conversation you would know that. So I'll let you introduce yourself, Ms. Brittany. Give us a little background about what you're doing day to day and why you do this job.
A little bit about me. I've been in the firearm industry for about 4 years now. It kind of just came about. It wasn't like a passion I had at first, but once I started working in the industry, I started to love it. I have a couple of certifications now, a little bit of everything. I sell firearms on a day-to-day basis, so that's kind of what I'm doing in the
That's
industry.
awesome. I mean, definitely, like, honestly, the whole armor situation, the firearm training. Have you really seen like a big difference in the community for women? Have you noticed in these past few years, 4 years you've been working in the industry, have you been seeing more women coming in, more firearm instructors that are women?
I will say yes. I see that women are definitely taking heed in the industry now. I feel like since I've started working at my job, we've acquired 3 salespeople that are women, and that's the most that we've ever had working at the store at once in the
Yes.
past 40 years. So it's super exciting to see how many women are starting to really get into the industry.
That's definitely amazing because, like you said, I have not seen any many women working there at all in most gun stores and ranges that I've been to. So, Mike, thanks so much for joining. I appreciate you. Hey, Mike Hector and Michael Bennington. I see you guys, and you're looking for Glock 18. Okay, so we're here to talk about it. He's like, let's jump into it. So, yeah,
Yeah,
I know,
that's how you.
right? So when it comes to Glocks, though, honestly, it's for those who have been to the channel before, you probably already know Glock is really not like my cup of tea. I'm not really a Glock person. I would shoot it, I'll get the job done. That's not a problem. It's just more so in my comfort. It's not my style and my comfort. But I did find it quite interesting what the attack was when I first seen this information in the media. It was portrayed to me like they were banning Glocks. And I was like, oh no, like
Mhm.
that's horrible. Did you get that news too?
Yeah, they sent out a scare message. A lot of people text like, no, calm down, don't worry, don't
Yeah, I
worry.
kind of figured that had to be some kind of fake news or something because I was like, Glock is too big for something like that to happen.
Yeah.
NRA is not going to let something like that. Glock is not going to let something like that happen. But so we're
Mm-mm.
here to set the record straight. Glocks are not being banned. For anybody who did not get the update, they are not being banned. um, so, what is being banned in California specifically, and there are some other states that are going through the lawsuits now, adding to this same agreement, is that they're banning guns that you can put a switch on. So, converting the gun into an automatic, that burst or spray mode for a handgun is pretty terrible, especially if you live in a city area. We have quite a bit of cases where the young guys are out there, just shooting in broad daylight, particularly in the DC area. We're in the DC area, so we hear those type of stories happening, and they're putting a switch on their gun. And innocent people for sure are getting shot. Like I remember maybe 2 years ago, there was a story of a preschool kid. They were outside in DC walking their kids from one place to another, just being outside. And they were in a preschool. They were holding hands, and shooting just started happening in broad daylight. And a little baby got hit by a stray bullet from somebody using the switch. So that is the real reason why we're in this predicament right now, because we have stuff like that going on. Um, and so the thing is, have you got any people coming to the store asking about, oh, what gun can I put a switch on? Did anybody ever ask you that, or you heard of anybody coming there asking that?
Nobody's ever come to the store asking that. People have asked, not directly. People have asked not directly. They try to form the question to make it not seem like that's what they're asking, but we kind of figure it out and ask them to leave.
Hmm.
So not a lot of people will just boldly ask you that, but they'll try to find ways to insinuate that's what they're asking. So
Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense.
yeah.
Yeah, I know you guys get put in really uncomfortable situations a lot. Like, I know for a fact that I've had some students to come there, and I remember having two students that different situations that came there smelling like weed, and you guys had to say, y'all can't be here, like y'all have
Yeah.
to go.
That's a hard one because sometimes it's like there'll be a group of people and they might not all come together, but you're a group. So we have to eliminate the entire group because we don't want to excuse anyone and point anybody in any sort of direction. So it
Hmm.
might just be one person, but everybody has to go. So,
Yep,
but
yep,
it's just it's safety. It's safety.
and
That's all
that's
it
it's
is. We
really
don't just sort
good
of make
that you
sure.
guys.
Yeah, you wouldn't want somebody on the lane next to you and they're drunk. So what's it's the same as driving. Same
Hmm.
situation.
Yeah.
So
And no, Mike, no, you can't smoke and drink. I mean, you can't smoke and drink and shoot. No.
no, just like you can't carry your firearm to the bar. You're not supposed to do that. It's the same thing. You can't be smoking and then
No,
going to the
not at
range.
all. And that's the one thing that's so crazy though,
Mhm.
how I've had a student actually who has been smoking weed for like 2 decades. And he's like, this is my regular way of
Mhm.
life. Like I didn't even smoke this morning. No, how he put it. This was like maybe 1 o'clock in the afternoon or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. He's like, I haven't smoked in a long in however many hours. Like he had smoked 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. That's how he starts his day. And I was like, but it was the same day. And like, actually, I don't even think it was in the afternoon. It might have been 12, like 11:30, 12 o'clock time frame. So I was like, dude, you only
Mhm.
like it's still your sister. What do you mean? So he was completely
Yeah, it's but
functioning.
that's why it's a smell thing. It's hard to say, "Oh, when did you do it?" Because some people just have, the aroma. So it's hard. So I just always suggest for people just to come in, try to have fresh clothes.
Hmm.
Can't
Yeah.
turn you down if you don't smell, you know.
Mm, right. You don't smell like it if you don't look like it. I mean, honestly. So those are just some kind of safety features and things that you guys do on a regular basis. But when it comes to these whole gun situations, I know you have to have some people coming in there like asking questions that's just really suspicious. Like you're wondering, what is their intent? Do you have any cases that you can recall that you could maybe give us a snippet of? I don't really know about
Oh,
this
like a straw
situation.
purchase?
Yeah, maybe a straw purchase. Yeah.
Um, One time I had someone come in the store and they were on the phone. And they didn't say anything to any of the salespeople. We all tried to greet them, and they were just adamantly on the phone, back and forth, back and forth. And then somebody had asked them, "Hey, were you shopping today? Like, what are you doing?" And they had looked down at their phone. They're like, "I want this model." And then they got on the phone and started talking again and started talking about money and some more stuff. So we were like, "Sir, are you buying this gun for you?" And he started stuttering and he got nervous. So we just asked him to leave.
Yeah.
Like sometimes
Yeah.
it's
You
so
know.
obvious, and I feel bad. Sometimes women are subjective to it. Like somebody will bribe them into doing it. Oh, just buy this gun for me, and it'll be a girl come in there, and she doesn't know anything at all. She's like, I want a Glock, and we're like, okay, what kind of Glock do you want? Or like if you try to hand them a firearm and they just look weird, like it's very telling.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, honestly. I can see how women would get roped
Mhm.
into that because we're always trying to help, the people around us and whatnot. So I can totally see
Mhm.
that and not feeling comfortable about firearms in general. But that's the one that has the clearer background, or that's the one that's not trying to possibly do something criminal with it. So
Mhm.
they're like,
Yeah,
yeah,
because some people don't even know it's wrong. They're just like, "Oh, I'm
right.
just buying my brother a gun. Like I'm giving him a gift or something like that." It could be innocent on their part, and they don't know
Hmm.
no better. So,
And that's the sad thing about straw purchases. For anybody who does not know what a straw purchase is and you haven't gotten it by the context clues at this point, it is when you're buying a gun with the intent to give it to someone else. That is a
Mhm.
federal offense, and you'll be looking up to about maybe 10 years in prison, up to $250,000 in fines. Um, but if the situation is investigated and it determines that you knowingly did this for someone that you knew that they were going to commit a crime with, then the 10-year sentence going to go up to as much as 25 years in prison as a result of a straw purchase with these intentions behind the scenes. So
Mhm.
that's one of those things where you guys just if a person can't buy a gun for themselves, don't be the one to say, okay, I'll do it for you. Please don't agree
Right.
to something like that, honestly. There's a reason why they can't buy it for themselves. And so that's what you need to just lean on, honestly. So it's women trying to educate on guns, just stop. Well, Tactical Slope, I really would love for you to stick around. As a matter of fact, if you're in the DMV area, give Trouble Defense a call, and I'd love to take you to the range. And we'll see how much I can teach you. So we definitely love everyone's opinion here, whether or not I agree with you or not. Hey, it is what it is. Everybody's subject to their own opinion, and you don't have to be here. So, yeah, we can educate you just as much as men can. And you'll see, look at my YouTube channel, you can see that as well. So, going back to what we were talking about though, as far as that straw purchase, you guys just really just make sure that you're buying a gun for yourself. If you want to gift the firearm to a friend or a relative, then all you have to do is be the one to fund it. Besides that, you're going to have to go through the process of buying a firearm. And Brittany, if you can walk us through that process, that will be greatly appreciated.
Okay. I just want to put out there that I can only speak for the state of Virginia. Every state has different gun laws, so this is just pertaining to Virginia only. Um, If you are trying to buy a handgun in the state of Virginia, you have to be over the age of 21 years old. And you have to be a resident of Virginia for at least 30 days. So your driver's license has to be at least 30 days old for you to purchase a handgun in the state of Virginia. If you are 18 years or older, you can buy, well, between the ages of 18 and 21, you can buy long guns, either rifles or shotguns, which is kind of backwards for some people, but we'll get into that later.
You're right.
But in order to purchase a gun, you have to have an ID in the state of Virginia. You go into a place, an FFL. Basically, that just means a place that has a license to sell firearms legally. So gun stores, pawn shops, something of that nature. So you go in there with your ID. You get to pick out your firearm. Once you do that, they will do the paperwork for you. So you have a federal form, which is the ATF 4473, and then you have the VSP SP65 background check form. So the way our store does it, we fill out the federal form. So that's basically them asking you who you are. Um, you list your address, your sex, date of birth, where you were born, and they ask you a series of questions, just basically certifying that you are able to legally purchase a firearm. And then the second portion would be the state form, the background check. And that's just basic questions about who you are again, but the state police is just going to review who you are as a person to determine whether you are in a legal status to purchase firearm. So depending on who you are, you can get instantly approved the same day and walk out the store with the firearm, or you might be placed on what they call delay. And delay is not necessarily a bad thing. That just means they're doing a more extensive background into who you are. It could be something as simple as an address you live at, maybe a crime was committed there previously. It could be something as simple as you have a government clearance. So an average police officer can't review your background, so somebody higher has to review your background. So your background check might take a little bit longer. Um, or in some cases, people do get denied. Sometimes people um, will have a prior background criminal history that um, in certain cases there is example for people who have green cards. They always have a waiting period time because their background check has to go through a series
Mhm.
of federal agencies. So their background checks typically take at least 2 days. If you are under the age of 21, you decide to purchase a firearm, you will be put into research. And research is just meaning that they're doing their due process to make sure you're not purchasing this gun in intent to do something negative. So your background check could last up to 10 days legally, but if they don't respond within those 10 days, you are free to have that firearm. So,
Okay.
yep.
Yeah, I definitely go on that. What's the name of the status when there's a delay? Is it delayed status?
Yeah, it's called delayed status.
I always go on
Yep.
delayed status too. I don't really know why. I don't know if it's just enough Sheenas out there with the same.
It could be enough Sheenas.
uh,
Some people
so,
who have common names like the last name Smith,
mm-hmm.
um, I kind of recommend them to get what they call a UFIN number, which is basically the government issues you an ID number. So if your name is John Smith, there's a million of those. They issue you a number so they know which one you are. And once you enter that on your background check, it goes through a little bit faster. So because they can identify exactly who you are.
Yeah, I did notice that when I
Hmm.
picked up amount of guns that I was purchasing that it came a little faster. And the same thing with my husband. It was the same for
Hmm.
him. Yeah. All right,
Yep.
so I'm
The more
looking
you
here.
buy, the quicker it goes sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I see Michael, you said you go on delay because you have a clearance. So yeah, I guess that's pretty common. And Junior
Hmm.
King, so at 18, so my 18, I guess, kid can carry a gun legally. How can he get it if he can't buy it? Oh, good question. If you are a Virginia resident, I'll let Brittany take that up. They just recently changed the law on that. So,
Hmm. So this is a tricky question. So in the state of Virginia, you can't buy a pistol in between the ages of 18 and 21. But what could happen is if you're, um, say Sheena's imaginary daughter, for example, is 18 years old, and Sheena buys her daughter a firearm. Her daughter can now carry that firearm because her mother gifted it to her. Now, her daughter can't walk in the store and buy it herself, but her mom can gift it to her because she's of legal age to possess a firearm, but she's not an illegal age to carry a firearm. You're not legally able to carry a firearm until you're 21 years old. So you can have one, but you can't walk around with it until you're 21 and possess a concealed carry license unless you open carry.
Yeah, you got it. And another thing that I found pretty tricky, back in 2020, they did change the law then that there was no, that we could not do person to person transfers, and we all
Mhm.
had to go to FFL dealers. Um, and if anyone doesn't know what I mean when I say person to person transfer, I literally mean that like maybe me and Brittany want to meet each other like at a Walmart parking lot and buy a gun from one another. That is a person to person transfer. So in 2020,
Mhm.
they changed the law where we could not do that. Now, they just, as a couple of weeks ago, are putting out there now that in Virginia we can do this again. So what that means is a slight little loophole for those who are between that 18 to 20 years old of age, where they may be able to get firearms by that process. Um, and so anybody who is doing a person-to-person transfer, please be mindful that, yeah, you know you don't have access to doing background checks on people, but what you should be doing is at least making sure that that person has a concealed carry permit. If that person has a concealed carry permit, then that means that they've already gone through whatever background check, and their history must be clear in that aspects of things. And of course, they need to be Virginia residents as well if you're doing this type of process here. And of course, last bit of advice for you if you're doing a person-person transfer is to have a bill of sale. So that way you can show
Mhm.
proof that this is the date and this is the gun model and this is the serial number and all these things was legally transferred to me um, with the person to person transfer. What's the other term for that? I keep saying that, but I know it's another
Private
term.
party sale.
There you go. Private party sale.
Yep.
So let's see. What is somebody else saying? Oh, somebody wants to answer. Oh, he just asked. So I hope that answered your question, Junior King, how your 18-year-old can actually legally get a firearm. Um, let's see. And let's see. Heckler said, can my great aunt use my gun in self defense in my house if I'm not there? The gun is in my name. Yes. Yes, they can.
Mhm.
Yep. If they're in your home and that's the firearm that's there, they legally can. There may be of question if they're taking the firearm out of the home. Then that might be something a little bit different there. Those are some blurred lines that I would not mess with. But inside the
Yeah, I
home,
wouldn't go there.
yes.
In the house, fine. Out of the house, eh.
hmm Yeah.
Because
And
if
I hear you.
something, if she were to get into a situation and she's in possession of it, she would then have to explain why she's in possession
hmm
of it. So that might be a slippery slope for her, and you don't want to put her in that situation. So.
Yes. Now, as far as that person-to-person transfer, I think Michael Bennington is asking where can he get that information? You could find it at Virginia State Police website.
Mhm.
That's where you can find it at. So, yeah, like I said, that is something that's just happened a few weeks ago. And can my
Ooh,
husband
that's a
buy
good
me a gun?
question. Yes, actually. Spouses, the way that works, if your spouse has a gun, you are equally as responsible for that gun as they are. So you can buy, your husband can definitely buy you a gun and you possess it, and that's completely within your legal right.
So, as far as them having an equal responsibility, there's a little question there only because the responsibility typically falls on the person who purchases it. So, that's something that there may be some responsibility because it's in the home, but as far as
Mhm.
like if there's some
I
negligent
maybe should not
charges
have
and
used
things,
equally. Okay, not equally, not equally. But since you are married, you guy, if something were to happen in the instance of the firearm, you guys would both be
observe,
questioned per
yeah.
se. Yes.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Yeah, I hear you on that because it's all in the same house.
Mhm.
But yeah, definitely, your husband can buy a gun for you, but still, it will fall under that straw purchase if you're trying to do it. Whereas he goes in the store and buys the gun for you and then gives it to you. So that's something that still you want
Not if they're
to.
married though.
If they're not. Oh, really? There's a difference.
Not if they're
Oh, okay.
married. There's a difference. If you're married to someone, you can legally buy them a firearm and it'd be fine. That it happens all the time. That it's different because legally they're married. So they're conjoined. So it's like
Okay.
kind of like the same as taxes a little bit, if you can
Mhm.
make a comparison there. Like
Okay.
they're they're one almost. Like
Okay.
I had a couple, like technically the gun is in whoever buys it name, but the wife can leave the house with the husband's gun. In that situation, they can.
Mhm.
It's a weird like caveat in there, but
Yes.
you legally, yes,
Okay.
is the official answer.
All right. And so their last question was, so is it in whose name would it be in then?
It would be in the purchaser's name, but since you guys are married, you guys are both held responsible for the firearms.
Okay, okay. So, my question too is, I know there's a lot of first-time buyers that may be here. What are some common things that first-time buyers maybe like have a problem with, or that they should know ahead of time that would help them along the way?
Um, I'd say the biggest thing that I feel like people don't know or think about is just because you can buy a gun doesn't mean you can legally carry a gun. Carrying and conceal carrying, and a lot of people conceal carry illegally without knowing.
Mhm.
So I would say I always suggest for first concealed carry license only because it basically creates a shield for you almost. So if you're in your car or you're out traveling, you don't have to worry about your gun being unaccounted for basically. You can have it where you have it in your possession without it being an issue.
Mhm.
Um, because a lot of people, like I said, they put it in their pocket or they put it in their purse thinking it's not a problem. And technically, if you don't have a concealed carry permit, you are breaking the law. So that's a big one for me. Um, as far as buying a gun for a first timer, be mindful of the people in your home. A lot of people have kids or elderly or busybodies in their home that shouldn't have or should not have access to guns. I always recommend buying a safe or a case for your firearms, just so mistakes don't happen. But I also do encourage everyone in the house to be aware and eventually learn how to use the firearm. Because if a firearm is in the house, people should be aware of how to use it in case situation arises, or just because it's a good knowledge to have, just because.
Mhm. And just like that
Mhm.
situation where someone here was already asking about their aunt that lives with them being able to use the gun in case of an emergency. So it's important that the people in the home know
Mhm.
how to use it, people who are legally able to possess the firearm, of course. And on that
Mhm.
note, I would like to add that if someone is already not aware, be mindful that if you have someone living in your home that has a felon, that they should not be in a home with the firearm present. So that's something to be aware of as well. Um, and DMV renovations, I'd have to second that motion. If you're a person of color, I do not condone open carry because it just gives too much attention.
Yep.
Yeah, it gives way
Next
too
thing
much.
you know.
Yeah, gets too much negative attention. We don't want that type of attention. Just let that be. But what I will say to
Mhm.
second that, though, honestly, to take the race car out of it altogether, when you live in an area that's the city area, like the DMV area, DC, Maryland, Virginia area, people are not a lot of people are still not okay with guns, period. So just the sight of a firearm, having a conversation about a firearm can be intimidating and scary for many. So with
Mhm.
that being said, now you're walking around with the gun visible, regardless if you have your hand on it or not, that causes people to be very nervous and fearful. I mean, there's even people who already are still fearful of guns even when they see a police officer, and that's what makes them nervous because the police officer has a gun, or a military personnel and they have the firearm on their in their holster. So those are things that already makes people nervous anyway. So don't give them any other reason. And Mike, yeah, you're right too. You know, I'm right there with you. Or Hispanic, any person of color, I would say, would definitely cause extra attention. I would say, but just in general, in a city, in an area, metropolitan area, lots of times people are not like Second Amendment supporters. And so you'll find that you'll have a lot of negative attention surrounding that type of, way of life. Because it is your Second Amendment right to do so. But it's a matter of whether or not you want to deal with the drama that comes along with it.
Mhm.
So I would also say that what is some I wanted to ask, what are some common mistakes that people might make on those like the ATF form or whatever background forms you have to do? Yes.
Common mistakes? Probably not understanding how they're asking the questions because the ATF forms, the way they word questions, it's kind of meant to make you think or misdirect you. So a lot
Hmm.
of times people will answer the questions incorrectly, but not intentionally. It's just basically they don't understand what the question is asking.
Yeah.
So it's tricky sometimes, but sometimes I'll read the question to them, and once they
Hmm.
hear the words, they're like, "Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I understand now." But not to put any answers to the questions out there, but it's just sometimes they tricky the questions
Hmm.
the way they word them.
Yeah.
Um, on the state form, there's a part where you're supposed to put your initials. A lot of times people skip that part and they're like, "Why isn't it going through?" And I'm like, "You didn't finish it. You gotta go back and finish and submit it." Like, okay. Or there's a part where you're supposed to sign your name to certify the form and date it. And a lot of people will put their birthday instead of the actual date of that day. So
Hmm.
we got to go back and fix that sometimes. That's a big one. But
Oh,
a lot of it
okay.
is just simply just not reading the questions properly.
Yeah. I wonder, do
So,
people get like, I know for me, I feel a certain anxiety when I see these questions. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's the ATF form. It's, oh my gosh, let me
mm-hmm,
make sure I say everything correctly. I don't want no problems. And it's crazy that I even feel that way because I've not had anything on my background like that. I've not gotten in trouble with the law, like not ever.
mm-hmm.
So for me to feel like that, I wonder if other people are feeling that way too. And so even for me
Now
reading those
people do get nervous
questions.
filling out the form. They're like, "Are you sure I'm doing this right?" And I'm like, "You're doing fine." But I can't say yes, you answered it right. So I can't, deter you into answering it one way or the other. But I'll be like, "Yep, you're doing good. You're
Mhm.
doing good. Don't worry. Just breathe. Just keep going." People do get nervous.
That is so funny because I'm sitting up here like I remember the last
Mhm.
time I was buying a shotgun and I was just like, why is this making me so nervous? Let me calm down and
Mhm.
I could be able to process this
Because it's the
information
the
I'm trying to read.
questions. It's like they're ripping into who you are as a person. It's like, whoa, just relax.
Yeah. I'm like, oh
Just
my
relax.
gosh. I would be sitting there
Mhm.
totally, I know I would be sweating bullets if I was a person who have had any problems with the law because the way that they word them is, can you actually bring up that form online? Like, can you bring up the ATF form online so people can like see it before they get
I
there?
don't know. Let me try. I've never tried to do it.
Okay. Yeah,
You
because I
you
was
probably
like,
can though.
I know for me, even when I go to vote,
Let me see.
you know how they have all those other questions out there about do you vote to this law being passed or this budget being used for such and such. The way those questions are worded, I find myself having to study that
Mhm.
before I even get to the poll. So that way, when I get to the poll, I can just
Oh, yep.
answer. Okay, cool.
You can pull it up.
Nice, nice. What's the name of the form again?
4473.
Okay. All right. So yeah. Because I mean that might be a
The
good thing
firearms
too.
transaction record.
I would say, if you're a person who feels like you're not as strong of a reader or it takes you a little while to process information, then it might be good
Mhm.
for you to review that form in advance. So when you get there, you already know, the information, you know what you're going to say.
Especially if English is not your first language, it's tricky.
Yeah.
'Cause they even for natural English speakers, it's it's hard sometimes. 'Cause they're like, "If not this," and I'm like, "Wait, let me think."
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Mhm.
It really is. So it's one of those things where I'm glad I'm not the only one. So I'm really glad
Mhm.
about that. And while we just have a moment here, I just want to say anybody who is here who's enjoying this content, I really appreciate you guys checking this out. And if you would please leave us a thumbs up so that others can know that this content is worth paying attention to. I mean, when it comes to buying a
Mhm.
gun, it's such a big deal in the United States for us to have our Second Amendment right to bear arms. So many people are like nervous about even going into the store to buy a gun. And our intent today is to help those be able to have an easier, smoother process. So you already know what to expect. So you don't go into that place and feel really out of place. There are so many people that I've talked to, like potential students or already clients of ours, that has expressed how nervous they were just even going to a gun store and the type of looks that they will be getting by the staff. Um, and that's one of the things I can say for the location you guys work at. It's gotten a lot better over the years. It really has. It's gotten a
I'll
lot better.
say I've watched it get better myself. I can't say that we was the best, but I feel like now we're getting to a point where diversity is we've got to be the most diverse range in the area right now.
Yes.
I'll say the most diverse range I've been to. I've been to a few
Hmm.
north and south. So
I
I'll
would
say
say
we're
so.
doing pretty good in my eyes. Going to the ranges up north is intimidating.
Yeah.
I went to the 6 Hour Academy and I went to the range while I was up there. And I was telling them like, yeah, I work at a range back home and all this stuff, and they couldn't believe me. They didn't believe me. They're like, "Really, you?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's not just me either."
Right.
So everybody that was there was male, white 40s or
Hmm.
older. So it's definitely interesting. Or even like there's a gun show in Dulles, Virginia this weekend. Showing up there, um, the table I work for at the gun show, our table is all minorities. And showing up to the gun show and there's 1,000 plus tables there of people selling stuff in the firearm industry. Um, I'd say about a good 20% they look down on us.
I
Like they
bet.
don't even acknowledge us as a table. It's so cringe. And it's like, bro, we're all here together to do this the same thing. Like we're all selling the same thing. Like what's the big gripe?
Right. That's
Mhm.
that's amazing. It's crazy how racism carries over to every aspect of our life, and it's at this point it's just stupid. I don't even know another word for it. It's pointless
Yeah.
and stupid. Especially when you're talking about somebody having a job and being able to perform a job. Race should not be a part of this. Especially when you're
Mhm.
talking about somebody having the rights that we have here being the United States. Race should not be a part of that conversation. So it's just amazing that we're still stuck on these same type of stigmas that we've had for generations. It's like, come on, move on now. Let's get on with this. Get over this. It's over.
Yeah.
you
It's
know?
it's gone. It's
Yes.
over. Just
Yes.
move on.
Exactly. I mean, I can understand that, people have grudges and things like that. I can totally see that if you have some personal vendetta with somebody. But on an everyday
Yeah, but a
basis,
collective hatred is just how do you wake up with so much hate, you know?
exactly.
Let it
So,
go.
so many things to smile for and to live for and be happy about other than this. So,
Mhm.
Drew, I see that you said you've had some problems with your forms and it takes you a while to do it. So, I'm glad you get through it.
Yeah.
And he had a question for you. How many times do you get hit on in a day working at the range?
Oh my goodness. Um, enough, I'll say. Enough, but it's easy to deter, so it's fine, you know? I do my job and that's all I gotta do.
That's facts. That's facts. I think
Mhm.
it really helps though too that you actually work at a gun store because it's like, oh, she might shoot me.
And I get that too. I get the nervous people. They're like, "Well, I don't want to talk to you. Like you got guns." And I'm like, "I'm very nice. You don't have to be afraid of that." But
Right.
it's also fun because sometimes I'll be the only girl on the shift that day, and it's like everybody's protecting me, you know, because I am the only girl. So it's like I got a bunch of big brothers at work and stuff. So
Yeah.
a lot of times I'll get the blocker without me having to put it up. So.
Hey, that works. That definitely works.
Mhm.
I know I have I live behind my husband's shadow when it comes to that. Like they like,
Yeah.
oh, you're married to D? Oh, okay. Yeah.
And keep walking.
Yes.
Right. Right.
Yeah, so that works. It works a whole lot. DMV
Mhm.
renovation says I'm coming to visit you. So
Well, you gotta find me first.
so when it comes to all this Glock business, what did you notice
Mhm.
about a shift? Did you see like major differences in sales or
Oh,
purchases?
yeah.
What
When
happened with
Glock
that?
when Glock released their statement saying that they were discontinuing their double stack models, we literally had probably 20 to 30 in stock when they released it. I work Monday through Friday typically. So by Tuesday, we had no more.
I did notice they
Gone.
were gone. I did
Gone.
notice they were gone.
We had one single MOS model left, and it was a competition Glock 34, so it's not really popular. It's because it's so
Hmm.
big, so nobody really wanted it. But when I tell you, we sold out of Glocks in 2 days. And when they
Wow.
finally released the V models, it took a while because everybody was ordering them.
Hmm.
But we have them in the store now, so they're out there. But we were Glock Drive for like 2 weeks. It was sad. I was sad. The store was sad. It wasn't a good time. And
Man.
customers were coming in every day, like, "Where are they? Where are they?" And I'm like, "I don't have any." They're like, "Well, can you tell me somebody who does?" And I'm like, "Trust me, I've called everybody in the area. Nobody has any. Please."
Oh,
I've checked
that's
all the
terrible.
distributors, just 0 units, 0 units. It was so sad.
Hmm.
And I had a lot of customers that were outsourcing from different states and transferring them into my store. I had one I had one customer, he ordered 5 different models in 1 week
Oh,
just to make
wow.
sure he had each model he wanted before they were all gone.
That's crazy.
People get
Man.
crazy.
Yeah.
People get crazy.
So Demery Renovations asks, do you like the new model better?
To be honest, there is not much of an there's no external difference besides the letter V on the outside of the model. Internally, it looks a mirror, the same minus maybe 2 millimeters of plastic in certain areas. So opening it up, all the parts are the same, all the part numbers are the same. Everything operates the same except for the frame. Like the frame itself was changed, not any parts that go inside the gun. So there's not
Okay.
much to say, oh, that looks different. Unless you
Mhm.
open Glocks every day, you're not going to notice a difference.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. Yeah,
Hmm.
definitely. That's good to know. I mean, and is there a price difference between the V
Nope.
model and the? Okay. All
Their
right.
prices are the same. MSRP for Glocks sits at about 650. Um, so that's what we sell them for basically. Well, MSRP is about 7 and we sell under MSRP. We sell them at about 650.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And he also asked another question.
Yes, they're still double stack models. Yes. They're the same exact models coming out again. They're just a little bit of an alteration in the framework. So just the internal part. All of the externals are the same. All of the magazines are the same. You can still put the same optics on your guns. Everything is the same.
Mm, that's amazing. Like I find it pretty interesting that when it comes to guns, is give it like I guess the best way I could say this is all gun manufacturers have had their problems. I mean,
Hmm.
you've had like Glock has been in some trouble before that lots of people have amnesia about or have never heard of, whereas they had problems with their triggers a long time ago. Well, I ain't gonna say a long time ago, but a while back. And so that's forgotten. Benito, gone. Just
Hmm.
gone. People don't really know that. But now they have bounced back and marketed so well that that's the only brand of gun that you know if you don't know guns.
Yep.
Like if you don't know guns, you know what a Glock is.
A lot of
And you
people
know-
don't even know that Glock is a model. They just think Glocks is the gun. Like,
exactly, exactly. Oh
hmm.
man. And what gets me so crazy too, what gets me a lot of times is we'll have customers to call and they'll say, oh, okay, I want to do training with the Glock. They'll say I want to train with a Glock and I want to shoot a 22. And so they'll say Glock 22 or oh, I need to train with a Glock 45. And so in my
Hmm.
mind, as an instructor, I'm like, okay, so what Glock do you mean? Are you meaning you need to shoot a 22 caliber Glock or you mean you need to
Yeah.
shoot a 45 caliber Glock? Like I
Hmm.
have to make sure that they
Which
know
are you
that
talking
there
about,
is a difference.
model or caliber and all that? That's where Glock
Exactly.
did mess up. They made that a little tricky.
Yes.
They did. because you got a Glock 45, model 45, and then you got a
Mhm.
Glock 21 that's in 45 caliber. So it gets everywhere.
Yeah. And so that's the part I'm always teaching in all of my classes to make sure people know that. So when you are looking for Glock, you know there is the make and the model. So Glock being the make, the model being the number that's right beside that. And then closer to
My
above the
backpack.
handle is where you would see the caliber. So so people will know that honestly, because that could be a bit confusing. You never want somebody
Hmm.
trying to load the wrong ammunition into the wrong gun type of situation.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, so
I've seen that
one
before.
oh my gosh.
I've seen a couple of monstrosities like that before. I had somebody put a 380 inside of a 9 mil. That was fun. I've had somebody
Mhm.
put a 300 blackout inside of a 5.56. Their rifle blew up.
I
I've
bet.
seen crazy things. I've seen barrels crack in half. I've seen bullet casings ejected backwards. It gets crazy.
Oh man. Man, that is crazy. I know that is one of the things that taught me as an instructor. And for those instructors that may be out here listening to this, word of advice, please, when you're going to the range with your student for the first time, do not let your student show up with the full magazine loaded. Like, honestly,
Mhm.
unload that thing completely so you see the ammunition that's going into that gun. And I had to learn that lesson. And thank goodness I learned that lesson because I didn't feel comfortable, first of all, giving a newbie, I would say, a firearm with a magazine full of ammunition. Always give them one round because, like, what if they freak out after that first round? So that was
Yeah.
always my perspective. But I did have a student that the husband had sent like a Ziploc bag full of 380 and 9 millimeter ammunition mixed. And the magazines were also mixed just like that. And it was a 380 caliber gun. I was like,
No.
you almost blew our heads off, dude. Like,
Mhm. Mhm.
so I was like, that taught me that valuable lesson to be certain that I explain that to all the instructors that work with me. Like, seriously, never give a new student. And when I said new student, I mean your new student. Not that that they may have been to the range with somebody else before, da 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 da. Like,
It's your first time with them. Yeah.
exactly. Doesn't matter if they're experienced or not. I'm still like looking at that ammunition, making sure.
Because you get a lot of people, yeah, I know exactly what I'm doing. And
Yep.
then you get out on the range with them and you're like, whoa, put that down. Let's start from square one. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
definitely. So Michael asks, are they buying back old Glocks now? So he's
not to
just
my
curious.
knowledge, no.
Okay.
No. I mean, a lot of FFLs do buy used guns, and yes, but nobody's particularly just buying the old ones back. They're just going to have to be out there.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing they can really do to police that, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah. They're going through a lot of hoops and things for all of this gun control type of things. A lot of this is just politics when it comes to guns. I mean, not to fear mongle at all. But there's
Mm.
speculations out there that this is how they're trying to do with gun ruling. They figure this is a way that they could get in to change things and change the narrative about firearm ownership if they can go after instead of the people, but instead go after the manufacturing companies.
Yep.
I
They're,
mean,
that's how they're trying to take them out.
yeah.
So basically, that was the government's way of trying to get in there, sort of.
Hmm.
Um, Basically, a couple of states were trying to fight lawsuits saying that the switches themselves were too easy to put inside of Glocks specifically. And
Hmm.
the mechanism itself was causing a lot more violence than anything else. So Glock tried to counter it by saying, oh, well, we'll drop a model that is not compliant with the switch. That way they won't lose those states and they can still issue their models in those states.
Hmm.
So it's a little bit of a back and forth, money and power, but what
Hmm.
isn't? So
Yeah. So
I don't know.
honestly, that thing that is crazy because all of this is going down, and here it was earlier today. I'm looking at a YouTube video. Somebody's talking about, oh, somebody released that they found out how to put a switch on the new autos. I'm like, Can y'all just leave this stuff alone already so we can be just live on with our life and not have to deal with this mess?
Mhm.
I mean,
That's
honestly.
true.
Now I do know there are other models that are affected by this too, not just Glock, not just the Glock brand. There are other brands out there. I brought up some other ones that I'm not very
Taurus is one
familiar
of
with.
them.
Which one?
Taurus is one of them.
Taurus, yeah. Ruger has a model as well, the RXM. I'm
Mhm.
not
That
familiar with
it's a
it.
Glock clone, basically. The
Okay,
Ruger RXM was made after a Glock 19.
got it. Okay. And the Shadow Systems pistols,
That's
anything?
that's a fancier Glock model. So it's another brand that created their own version of a Glock, but it's better parts and materials, basically.
Okay. I think I feel like I've shot one of them before, and I
You
think I
probably
did like
have.
it. Yeah. A FMK, not familiar with that one either. But
Say that
there's a
again?
FMK 9C1 came up on my list as
I don't
well.
know about that one.
Yeah, there's a Smith and Wesson Model 2 that is up for debate. They said the SD9 VE
Yeah,
and
that's a popular one.
yeah, and the SD4, is that a OVE, I believe? Again, not familiar with
OD. Oh,
those.
that just means optics ready, basically.
Okay, okay. So that one came up on my list as negotiable. That's debatable. Some people are
Okay.
saying. Um, but that was really the ones that came up. I was like, okay. So again, you guys, they're not banning the gun. They're banning the sale of the guns that has the switch capability to it.
Mhm.
But specifically, this is in California. Um, this is not necessarily in a DMV area, but this is affecting our sales as we see the Glocks are being sold out and
Mhm.
then they're
There's no
restocked.
Glocks to go around.
Yes. And so, and then people do this crazy because it's like, okay, the whole thought process is probably, okay, let me buy them all up so that I could be able to sell them hopefully, or keep them as a collectible and they'll have some value later or something. At this point, I don't necessarily think that that thought process would even work based on what I'm seeing so far. With the Glock V being the same price and having all the same components for the most part, I don't
Mhm.
really know that the other Glocks are gonna have more or less value in the future, honestly.
Probably
So
not. I mean, maybe a
mhm.
little bit just down the road, but Glocks are gonna come out with more generations and more generations. So it is what it is at this point. And it's not like all the guns are gonna be gone. People are gonna be reselling guns for the rest of eternity. So the old models are still out there.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. That's very true.
Mhm. And some FFLs were able to fully stock and have 100 models of 19 sitting there. So some people do still have them. We just weren't one of the lucky ones.
Yes.
Like upcoming this gun show this weekend, I'm excited to see who still has the original models
Mhm.
because I know
Yeah,
somebody's gonna have some.
pretty much. Oh, wow. You selling yours, you letting it go?
No, keep it.
You might as well keep it. Just give it, let it ride along and see what happens.
Mhm,
Honestly. Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, thing is, when it comes to all of these things, I will always tell you guys to get more than one source. I mean, to information, because you'll find that you have even some news stations will say one thing and then later on will come out with more details and more facts. So, you guys follow this information, read up on it, learn about it as it progresses, because these lawsuits that are going out from between federal or ATF and the state, these type of things that's happening, NRA is also fighting for the Second Amendment right always. So they're in the mix
mhm.
of it all too. So we never know how this going to play out. So you just have to pay attention and listen and pay attention to those changes. Don't get caught up on a lot of these, other YouTubes, TikToks, videos, or whatever other videos out there. People like fear mongering, just trying to rile the people up. So really get the facts before you start passing judgment, before you start to make movements. Honestly, because this type of stuff can get ugly before it gets, smoothed out sometimes if we just jump into conclusions. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that we were here to clear out that for those who needed to know about those rumors that the Glocks were being banned or pulled from the shelves and things like
Nope.
that.
I've got a bunch in my shop right now.
Yes, so they definitely are still out there. You still can purchase them. And hopefully, you guys learn some things along the way outside of that, too, as far as purchasing a gun. If you are into buying guns or if you are interested in buying new guns, you can see the process is not very difficult. The biggest part about it is the questions itself, which we learned that we can pull up that form. What's the name of that form again? The
The
ATF form?
4473.
Okay. That we can pull up the ATF 4473 form online and kind of look over it, ahead of time, especially if English is not your first language, as Brittany
Mm-hmm.
mentioned before, especially if you learned that maybe you're not the strongest reader or maybe you might get nervous during the process. It would be good for you to look over those questions before even coming in. I did want to ask you one thing before we left. What forms of ID is acceptable?
Mm. Good question. That is dependent on the FFL you go to. I know for me, specifically my store, we require a driver's license, but there are FFLs that do accept Virginia ID cards. If you are a permanent resident, you will need to bring your permanent resident card with you. Um, if you're military, you will need your CAC and your orders, and you have to be PCS to the state of Virginia or the Pentagon. But outside of that, if you have an out of state license, with a secondary form of ID, you can purchase long guns, meaning just long guns and I'm sorry, rifles and shotguns, but you cannot purchase pistols unless that is the state of residence that you're in, that you
Okay.
live in.
All right. And as far as someone being a foreigner, the green card, no
hmm
green card, residency, can you clarify that information and divisions of information for me there?
Okay, if you possess a green card, you can purchase within the state that you live in. Um, but if you are, what is the, if you're not a permanent resident, what's the other phrase?
Um,
Um,
I don't know right off the top of my
like
head. Oh
I don't know the
gosh.
technical word for it. But basically, either you have to be a U.S. citizen or you have to be a green card holder. If you are not one of the two, you cannot purchase a firearm in the United States.
Okay.
Like you can't
Mhm.
purchase a firearm with a passport. You have to have papers saying you are legally able to be here.
Understood. Okay.
hmm
Well, thank you for clearing those things up. If you guys have any other questions, don't hesitate to put it in the chat box area for Miss Brittany before we leave.
hmm
Um, I definitely want to tell you guys thank you so much for joining. It's always a pleasure of being here with you guys. And Brittany, I appreciate you joining us so much.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, of
Mhm.
course. Come back anytime, honestly. We're gonna chop it
Okay.
up.
Okay. No problems there.
Yeah, so we definitely are so excited celebrating that we have more women in the gun community. This is really a pleasure to learn that there's somebody out there that looks like me that's out there doing this thing. Like,
Yep.
I
It
love
warms
it.
my heart every time.
Yes.
hmm
So, you guys, please put in the chat box area if you have any questions. I'll try to stick around just a moment, and I'll also be looking at, after to see if there's any questions, and maybe I can ask Brittany and get those answers to you guys. So, if you're looking at this as a recording, and
hmm
definitely stay tuned to the channel. Subscribe if you haven't already, gives us some thumbs up so we can know everything is great out there. And I would love to see you guys next week, every Friday at 8 p.m. So stay tuned for more. And Brittany, do you have any final says before you go?
Get your concealed carry permit. That's what I have to say.
Yeah,
Yep.
it goes a long
It's
way.
worth it, 100%.
Yeah.
Yep. That's all I got.
Well, definitely short and sweet to the point. And I had to second that. Honestly, getting your concealed carry permit is so many different things. One, I always think about the fact that it's not enough just to know how to use the gun. You have to know when to use the gun. So when you get your concealed
Mhm.
carry permit, you're going over the laws and you have a good understanding of some things. I mean, even just earlier today, I spoke to a person who wasn't aware of her transporting her firearm with her through aircraft. And she said, okay, well, that's legal and that is legal. You can totally do that. But the destination is the question. She wasn't thinking that far into it. She just was like, oh, I'm going on vacation and I can take this gun with me. Yeah, no, maybe not. You need to see if the hotel or, or resort that you're staying at, or the country that you're visiting, or state that you're visiting, is legal for you to have a gun, let alone that particular gun. Because there are some guns that's out there. Like I know I own a bullpup, being a Virginia resident, but far as I understand, in Maryland they can't get that same gun. So it's different little things like that that you really need to know. So it's important get that concealed carry permit. There's so much more into it to just knowing how to use the gun. And so definitely, you guys stay tuned for more insight. I'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.